money. So what happens when you want to take your business to the next level, or even if you're starting one, how do you pitch it and make it sellable to a would-be investor? In studio tonight, I'd introduced my guests earlier, but I'll run through it again. We have Victor Onzere, who is the founder of BTrack Global. He'll be telling us a little bit more about what they do and why he founded it. And then we have Sam Gishuru, who is the founder and CEO of NILab, which is one of Kenya's leading business incubators. And finally, we have Dunstan Machoka, who is the co-founder of BTI Millman. Gentlemen, thank you all so much for being in studio. Tonight's setup is a little interesting. Victor is going to be pitching his business to Dunstan and Sam and see if he's able to pitch for profit and maybe walk away with some good money and share it with me on the side. Tell us a little bit more about your business, Victor.
My name is Victor, as you said, and I'm the manager at BTrack Global. Our core business is basically to secure and track motorcycles using three different platforms. The first platform is through an SMS, the second platform is through Android, and the third platform is through the web. This one came about because the last couple of years we've had enough experiences of motorcycles being stolen or people getting involved in theft using motorcycles. So we thought and decided, how about we come with a solution that can help people for them to be able to track or acquire their properties once they're stolen. And
how much money are you seeking to sort of grow your business?
Basically, in order for us to grow both locally and internationally, I'm seeking about 5 million Kenya shillings. 5 million
Kenya shillings?
Yes.
Okay, of course, in just a few moments, I'll be opening up the floor to Sam and Dunstan just to ask you a few questions.
Yes.
Dunstan, you've done this for 6 years now, and you said 1 year into your business, you were able to receive a grant that I think essentially allowed you to grow your business. What is the one thing that people who are starting up need to keep in mind when they want to inject that cash flow or want to seek money from an investor in order to grow their business?
The most important thing is what you are offering.
Okay.
You must look at your product and be sure that the product will give value to you and your investor long term, not just in the short run.
Okay.
Yes.
Sam, a lot of people probably come to you saying, look, I have this great idea. I really think I need you to invest in it. I think I could grow. What is it that sets people apart?
Okay, so I've managed to play a very interesting role, one from an accelerator perspective, one from launching a seed fund that we are launching currently, and I've also gone back myself to build a startup, just to walk in the shoes of every startup founder. And what sets people apart is how much you know your business and how much you know your clients. A lot of people want to talk about ideas. No investor wants to talk about ideas. My investors, because my job now is to connect the investors, it's not my cash, it's to bring investors and put them in businesses like this. My investors don't want to hear about ideas, they want to hear about a potential business.
Okay.
So I think it's time for people to start understanding that an idea is valueless. I keep on insisting, make sure you understand your customers better, make sure you understand your market, make sure you have what you call a product market fit.
Okay.
Yes, it's not whatever it is you're imagining people will buy in your head.
Buy, right. You have to have done your research. Remember, you can use the hashtag #CitizenBusiness or talk to us on 22422. We'll have that feedback later on. Right now, I'd like to open up the floor to Sam and Dunstan to talk to Victor. I don't want to use the word interrogate, but you are pitching for profit, so let me open up the floor to you.
I think what's going to happen is you're going to be interrogated, so this is going to get a bit rough. So I know you said about your business and what you do, but just do that. Say that again in the shortest sentence you can make.
Basically, what we do in our company is to secure and safeguard border borders as well as motorcycles. The main platforms that we use are mainly the SMS, Android, and web platforms. Yes.
So I could ask you, how big is the market for border borders in Kenya?
The market is extremely huge, as the growth of border borders in Kenya is actually by 10% every year.
But how many border borders do we have in Kenya?
Currently we have around 42,000 border borders.
Growing at 10%?
Yes.
So every year we are looking at an extra 4,200 border borders.
Yes.
And when you look at the business, are the border owners or riders able to buy your product? How much is the product and how much do the border operators earn in a day or in a month?
Roughly the border riders on a day make roughly like 1,000 shillings. With our tracker when we were coming up with the idea of installing them, we thought of the bodabodas and how much they would be able to afford. So we decided to put it at the cheapest price in the market within East and Central Africa, which is at 6,000 shillings. And we've come up with many ways of payment, which some can be done through installments and some can be a one-off payment, and then we make an arrangement on how to finish up on the balance.
How much is your margin? For 6,000 shillings per installation, how much do you make as a company?
We are not really profit-minded, but basically we make around 1,500.
1,500. So if you are able to capture what we call the total addressable market, which is 42,000 bodabodas, it's 1,500 times 42,000.
Yes.
Do you think that makes $1 million, $1 billion business?
Yes, it does.
Has the potential to do
It has the potential to do that.
So from an operations point of view,
yes,
are you able to service that market, you know, that spans across the entire country, and some places are really remote?
That's another reason as to why we need more funding, because the more the numbers, the more the demand. So once the demand of the truckers increases, we'll have to increase the number of our staff.
You have the expertise to do the installations?
Yes, at the moment.
Maybe tracking in case a bike is lost?
Yes, at the moment.
Please explain the process if you can.
Yes, at the moment we have around 6 technicians just based here in Nairobi. We also have our branches in Kisumu and Eldoret, and also have another branch in Kampala, Uganda.
So at 6 technicians in Nairobi, how many installations are we doing a day?
In a day we do roughly between 10 and 20 installations.
And at the 1,500 net, are you telling me that is minus the installation fee?
Yes.
Okay, so that's your money.
Yes.
How much do you pay installers?
How much do I pay?
Do you pay installers? Installers, the people who are doing installation, how much do you pay them?
We've contracted them and we pay them a certain amount every end of the month.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you aware of any competitors in the market, or anyone doing something similar?
Currently there's none. The only market that is flooded is the car tracking market.
Okay. So I'm trying to imagine a motorbike tracker.
Yes.
It's visible. How secure is that? I mean, somebody could just yank it out and walk away.
Okay, so here's the thing. We came up with the software and even the design of the tracker, and then we sent it to a company in China and manufactured it, and they brought it back to us. It is waterproof, and during the installation it's a very tiny gadget. We don't even show the bike owner where it is installed. Just to
can you lock and unlock your bike with this?
Yes, you can.
So what else can this business be other than just a tracking business?
Sorry, as you answer that, the pictures are on air for our viewers at home. This is the gadget that Victor is talking about. Go ahead.
Yes, what's your question?
So other than just tracking my motorbike, I have a morbike.
Yes.
What else can this tracker do for me?
Oh, this tracker can cut off fuel.
Okay.
It can, when you log into your account, once you get the password and the username, you can play it back and know how far it went or where it went and how long it stopped. Yes, in case it's tampered with, you'll also get an information on your phone or whichever site you're using, so to alert you that the bike is being tampered with or the tracker is being tampered with.
Okay. So there's a question I asked about the market is locally and how to address the market, and how are you acquiring customers?
Well, basically we've been able to capture the Nairobi market, especially through our sales team, which is rapidly growing. We've been able to, at least on a daily basis, make around 10 to 20 installations.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we do is we get referrals. At times we go out to the field and convince clients of the advantages that come with installing this tracker, because we realized most of these guys, they take loans in order to be able to get these bikes, and then when they're riding it or they've carried clients, maybe they're tags, they get tagged and they lose it. Sometimes they fight and cling on it and lose their lives. So we decided, let's make it easy for you. In case you happen to be tagged or anything, you can just leave it to us. Let them go, save your life, and we'll get back your bike.
I think you just have 1 or 2 more questions before we gather your feedback based on this. So Simon Dunstan, go ahead.
I'd like to know more about the team,
yes,
especially your management team and your background.
Yes.
Yeah. If you're running the business, who are you running it with? And what sort of expertise do they have?
Well, the director of this company is called Felix Kimaru. He is an IT. He studied IT in Campus, and he's the one who came up with the system as well as the software that we use in order to make these trackers and install them. We also have a team of 4 who have studied in various fields in order to enable us to be able to capture, because in every farm there's the management farm, there's the operations part, and then there's the sales part.
Okay, so I have two questions before we do a quick summary. Number one, so we discussed it, 6,000 per gadget, 1,500 is yours. There's an installer's fee. What is the cost of production in percentages out of the 6,000? How much does it cost you to produce this? We don't want you to give the exact figure, just give a percentage. And number two, my second question would be, you get 5 million. Well, at what valuation? Okay, exactly how much is your company worth right now? So 5 million shillings for an investor who's watching, how much percentage do they get of this company? And what is the first thing you do when you get 5 million shillings? Do you hire? Do you expand to a market? What market? Just in summary.
All right, once we get the 5 million, our main target is to expand locally, because right now we only have base in Nairobi, Kisumu and Eldoret.
Okay.
Yes. So the main reason as to why we are asking for this 5 million is basically to expand even across the borders. Secondly, once we get the 5 million, we'll have to meet the logistics. Yeah, this means setting up new stations, acquiring new staff in order to be able to promote the business. So what happens once we get this 5 million, we also intend to come up with new ideas, not just only in tracking, but something else that we can add up or on top of what we are doing already. Yes.
Just one last question. Yes. What are the risks in the business and how are you working to mitigate them?
Well, the risks basically, the first and foremost is the theft of the bikes. You know, the bikes are very easily stolen, yeah? But with our tracker, we've managed to install a device in it, in that even if the bike happens to be stolen, even if they happen to unplug it from the battery.
Let me interrupt you. How many bikes have you recovered?
How many bikes have we recovered? We've managed to recover around 25 since we started. That is in last year, September.
I think the question for risk he wants to understand is that what are the foreseeable risks in the future that could kill your business? Forget about the bike, but what could kill your business? A new tracking company, what could kill your business?
Your final answer before here.
Well, for me, what we think would be the greatest risk is in cases whereby our devices happen to fail, which we are working extremely hard so that they don't let us down.
Okay. Yes. All right, thank you. That wasn't so bad, was it?
No, pretty good.
It was good. Your thoughts? Let's start with you, Dunstan. Your thoughts on his business idea, his business venture, the potential that it has.
I think from an concept point of view, there is a problem he's addressing. He's looking at a market I'm sure most people have not looked at, and I think there's some bit of innovation in terms of the thought processes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sam, you've asked very pertinent questions, the two of you have. He's talked about the fact that he's addressing an issue that isn't there. Is there something that maybe Victor doesn't seem to have thought through that you'd want to advise him to?
Okay, quite a number of things. Number one, distribution. I feel that setting up 5 million shillings is too little to distribute across the country. At an operational cost per station of $1 million, where you have 3 people, you're paying 30,000, that's 90, you haven't even paid rent for a year, it will not be able to do anything for you. So you're asking for too little money for the kind of vision you're trying to implement right now. Number two, in terms of distribution, I think it'll be easier for you to work with insurance companies, where if you're going to buy a motorbike, if you don't have this gadget, you're not getting insured. You're already doing that? Yes, that's very good. And also microfinance. Yes. People who finance bikes.
We are doing
You're also doing that in terms of distribution. Yes. So those are things taken care of. The other thing, when I look at this in terms of scale, I can almost see if it can open a bike, close a bike, then somebody can buy 10 bikes. If it's very safe, put the bikes on a parking lot, and then if you want to hire a bike, you just have an app, you come and unlock a bike, you take it, and you bring it back. So it can be a bike on demand, on hire, if it can lock and unlock and it's safe to track.
That's progressive.
So I think that would be like a really scalable things to do, because maybe I can't afford to buy a bike and I want to be a boda and I can hire it for 5 hours and make money and return it on a station. And I can unlock it with an SMS.
I'll ask Sam and Dunstan one question each, but first, Victor, do you now have confidence and have you thought through certain aspects of growing your business based on the session that's just taken place?
Yes, I think the session has been really great and I've gotten to learn a lot of things, and I'm sure we'll still learn more.
Yeah.
After here.
Okay.
Yes.
And I wish you all the very best, you know, as you go ahead and pitch and grow your business. As we wind up, Sam, maybe I can start with you. What would you like to tell people? Because there's a lot of questions coming in. You know, I've tried to take this to the licensing board. I've tried to get my business funded by the banks. I'm always getting rejected. What would you like to tell people in startups that maybe they take for granted, that maybe they haven't thought through, the one thing that they need to keep in mind when going out there to pitch?
I think there's, on just this particular session, there's a lot to learn. He knows his business, he understands his distribution, he understands his customer. If you don't understand his business at a minimum level like he does, don't approach anybody for funding. Okay. Yes. Don't go to funding for an idea. Nobody funds an idea. Nobody funds an IP and you haven't acquired a customer. He has customers, he has revenue, he knows his margins, he knows even what markets are coming up, he knows the size of the market. This is a fundable idea. After this, the investor will do a lot of due diligence to make sure you're making that 1 million shillings every month in revenue. But the one thing you can't do is go to an investor when you don't understand your market or your customer. And so don't pitch ideas. Build a product, acquire users, validate your assumptions. Like he said, there's an addressable need here. And then go to an investor. And be able to talk about it in layman terms. I think that's the other thing, not making it too technical. Dunstan, like I said, 6 years in, what kind of advice do you have? I know it's been 6 years, but to people like Victor who are going in, because it must still be fresh for you in your mind, someone who wants to go out there, pitch, get funded, your #1 piece of advice that you would want to tell?
Back to my initial point, I think I'd advise Victor to understand the business, understand the market. I think if you started operations in September, we are talking of less than a year, it might not be adequate time to really be thorough, and getting investors' money might be risky as well, because if you don't understand all aspects of the business, then it might be a genuine mistake but costly. Okay. Yes. All right.
Thank you all so much. This was great. And again, all the best to you, Victor. We'll come back after the break with some of your feedback on Twitter and SMS. Stay with Citizen Business Center.